All right, so Joe, it is your turn to talk about Ag Pest Monitor.
Okay. So Ag Pest Monitor, this is EDDMapS. Still EDDMapS. We did not make a new product. So why are we talking about Ag Pest Monitor? Agricultural systems are different from natural systems and different from a lot of places that EDDMapS was really built for. So when we started working with, again, we have grants, we have projects, we have partners that say, I like what we're seeing here, but I need this. This came from a USDA AFRI grant where we were talking about how do we do better reporting across the country with all these state programs and the branding that every university has to have and the different pest lists in each commodity in each state. And then I'm going to want to collect different things in this state than what that state's going to do just because this state has a whole lot more personnel. They can do sweep nets in Arkansas through cotton fields and get those counts in. We don't necessarily have that at other universities. So everyone has their own workflow, their own way they're collecting data and different types of data. So you want a challenge? How do we get all these different groups to have what they need coming out, having it be available, and working in the way that they're going to work? If people have to learn something new, entirely foreign to what they normally would do, it's not really going to help them. So this was built for extension specialists and county agents serving growers in the industry to get this information out to folks. And again, supported by USDA, National Institute of Food and Agriculture, under Crop Protection and Pest Management Regional Coordination Program. We have this section of funds under the IPM centers. This is what we're using to say we built it. It was built long ago on that AFRI grant. It continues to exist and be supported. So if this functionality works for you, great. Let's work with you to help you implement it, as opposed to you having to go build something from scratch. And these are the many different groups that have tagged on to the functionality that's been available for looking at this reporting and how we really want to work with it. A lot of different commodities, a lot of different environments, and many different ways to collect data. I'm going to focus on two of these. The first one being the Crop Protection Network. They were looking at all the extension specialists working in cotton, corn, soybean, wheat, and going, okay, everyone has their own program. We don't have a lot of time. We need to try to get data in so that growers know where this stuff is coming from. And we're going to put it under this umbrella of the Crop Protection Network. There's your branding. But even with that, Purdue may need to have its own branding, and so may Georgia, and so may other groups. So how do we make this all pull together nicely? We started off with how some of them wanted to report data. For some of the specialists, they have enough time in their day moving between field plots and calls with growers to be able to quickly highlight on a map, okay, I've seen it in these counties. I know from my network what's going on. It's here. It's maybe here. It's not in these counties. They fill this out. It goes in as personal communication. There isn't images. There aren't other things that go along with this. This is just telling us the status of what's going on in that county. We also have the folks that say, all right, I'm in Iowa. I've got the time. I'm in soybean, which they have as a crop listed. Here's all the possible things I could report. I'm going to go ahead and make this report a bacterial blight of soybean, and I've got the time to go in and make a full report, including the growth stage, the incidence, the severity, where it's being found. I'm going to include some pictures with this, and if someone's not signed in, here's my contact information for all these different things. This then provides that report back to people who said, hey, thanks for participating in this. Here is, hey, crop lookout. This is part of what we're doing. You don't even know EDDMapS is hiding in here behind the scenes. And even the Ag Pest Monitor logo is occasionally not shown, based on us trying to make sure the user's having a consistent experience from, I came in through this site, I expect all the branding to be the same as I go throughout it. The final variation we get into, we have folks that are going out to that same exact field, checking a trap, doing 20 sweeps, counting what's in the sweep net, and entering those numbers. This is time series data. It's very detailed, a lot of work getting this stuff in. And a lot of groups don't have time to do it. But for those that do have scouting programs that can provide this, all right, this is what they're going to fill out. What we ended up doing with Crop Lookout is saying, yes, we know we have all these different things. Let's talk to the growers. What do you need? I want somewhere that I can go for multiple crops, and I want to see generally what's going on. And I'm fine with it being at a county level. I just kind of need an idea of what I'm up against. So doesn't matter where this data is coming from. It's from iNaturalist, from sightings, from the county status. It's coming out and showing up on this map. This map is directly on the Crop Protection Network website. They have folks that are coming to this all the time. They can browse by what crops it is. They can look at the different diseases that they're looking at. And it's giving the update of here's what's going on around you. Very straightforward, simple for what they need. This is the next slide that I love. This is what it takes to populate that map last year. This is all the people that contributed at least one data point or reviewed a record. This doesn't happen with one small effort or one individual doing all of it. It's a group effort. You can see all the different monitoring programs in that center section, and then us trying to cite the data. It takes a village to get all this to come together. So we're just providing the platform to make all that work together and give credit where credit is due across the board. Where we've had fun is mixing this then with other groups, like the distribution of troublesome U.S. agricultural weeds. This is coming from Rodrigo Worley out of Wisconsin, saying, we're not going to necessarily get a survey out there to every county and get all this data in, but we'd really like to have a better idea of the distribution of these things. And not only that, I want to know where it's troublesome. We're trying to control it and we're having issues. I'm not going to say what the issues are because we don't necessarily know. It could be resistance. It could also be we just don't have good management techniques for this stuff. So what they embarked on was this effort of, all right, I'm going to send this out to scouts. They're going to pick a weed. They're going to let us know what crop they're looking at. And they've got all the crops that we have available. The date here is when I'm making this report. So if I'm at the end of the season or a certain time of year, I can update this and let you know what's going on. I scroll in on this map and go to select my counties. And I'm going to start with where it's present. If I look, I can find that species. I saw it this season, but it's not always the big thing. And then where is it common? I see it all the time. I have no problem finding this species in these counties. The final category is then, and now here's the places that I've been trying to control it, and I'm trying the best I can, and I'm having problems. This is all they're submitting. Fairly straightforward and simple, giving us the idea of where the weed is found over a multiple county area and how easily they're able to control that weed. This goes in again, personal communication, this case from Steve Hoffman. We know who gave us this information and what he said on what date. So if Steve comes back and does this multiple years in a row, we can see how the picture of management has changed for Steve and in the area. We also get to do this. This is looking across all the data sources we have where someone has reported this. I know from the other data in EDDMapS presence absence. Okay, that's great. And then I start adding in on top of this, where do I have these notions of common and troublesome coming in? We aggregate that across all the partners. I can split it out then by commodity if they want that, but here you go. And now we can use this to go, all right, well, we're applying for a grant. We're going to highlight those counties up in Wisconsin, and we're going to say, you know what? Let's go ahead and get together. This is the area we're going to focus on for why these things are troublesome. And again, you have a lot of folks. In order to make that map happen, it wasn't just the herbicide resistance monitoring network and the distribution of troublesome U.S. agricultural weeds. It's all of these groups. Without them coming together, and this is the beauty of EDDMapS, this is how we all work together to advance what we have to do without having to go rebuild this from scratch every single time. It also gets back to, and you've seen us hit this up multiple times, statistics. If my data is in here, here's the amount of data I have, and then here's how much is being downloaded. What I'm going to look forward releasing is a report which tells you who downloaded what data and options to be able to reach out to them, because sometimes it's nice to reach out to that person and say, I see you got this data. I'd love to talk more because you happen to be in the same area I'm in, and maybe there's some collaboration we can have there. That's where those profiles and connect, getting to know more about the people is really going to come in handy for help building some of these communities. So with that, I'll take question and answer. I'm somewhat unrelated question. Is that map that allows you to color code by county available for customized use? If you mean I'm a programmer, can I have the code? I'll tell you the libraries we used. And if you look at the page, you can see the code. But it depends on what you mean by customized use. I would say maybe stop by office hours or drop me an email. I'll put my email in the chat.